All right, guys. Good morning. This is Mr. James reporting here. I know that we have had a lot of things that we've thrown out at you guys, but I am going to use this screen-o-matic technology to present to you some of your favorite things. I know you guys have missed it. I know you've missed it, but C notes for Sides of Jackson. Thank you for you all who have finished your vocabulary for Jackson era and also worked on your Jacksonian democracy video that was on Edpuzzle. So I'm trying to throw out different types of variations of activities so you don't get so bored, okay? But I'm going to do this in this way so that I can have some screen time with you guys and you can see my beautiful face. And so I'm going to start off with this, which is Mr. James's example of how to set up your Cornell notes in case you've forgotten. Okay, there's my skinny part with all my different topics, and then we're going to finish with a summary. Okay, I'll show you guys this again at the end, just so you know. All right, so our title is Sides of Jackson. Our essential question is, what were the sides of Andrew Jackson and how did they impact his presidency? I know as you guys have watched the video, you saw that his nickname was Old Hickory. He earned this nickname because he was as tough as a hickory stick, and a lot of people were kind of fearful of him because he was so aggressive, but it's fared well in a lot of things that we're going to talk about as far as his personality and what allowed him to be an effective leader at that time. So moving on to the next slide. All right, so Sides of Jackson Part 1. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Jackson in 2 different days. So I'm going to do this presentation again on Tuesday, but we're going to talk about different topics. So the topics for this Part 1 is Jackson the self-made man, Jackson the superstar war hero, Jackson as the duel master, Jackson as the party animal, and Jackson as the politician. So Jackson as the self-made man. All right, so he was born in North Carolina, and at 13 he was captured by British in the American Revolution, and he ended up escaping, but all but one of his family members were killed during this war. And then he began studying law and would go on to make money in real estate. And basically this just shows how, even though he had a lot of tragedy and adversity, he went on to educate himself and have a career as a successful real estate agent. Jackson, the superstar war hero. So during the War of 1812, he gained the reputation of being a great military leader, although he had no military experience. And if you remember, the War of 1812 was the second war against the British. They were impressing soldiers. They wanted us to be loyal to them, and they also had issues with the French, so we declared war on them, and he was a great leader during this war. After this war, he was asked to come home while the war was here in the United States, but focus his attention on the Native Americans near Florida who have been causing trouble, and people were complaining to the government to do something. He not only goes on to fight the Native Americans, but he also captured several Spanish cities there in Florida. So the government sent him down to Florida to take care of some of the issues that were going on there. Jackson as a duel master. I don't know if you guys know what dueling is when you take the steps, you go back to back and you take 10 paces and you turn around and you fire. Jackson thought this was pretty fun. He thought that this was cool to do. So on May 30th in 1806, Jackson dueled a man named Charles Dickinson and killed him. It was guessed that he had many duels. And so here's a picture that there's a painting that kind of shows some dueling, and people would come and watch. So sometimes people would get hit by stray bullets. I mean, this is a dangerous activity. And so this shows his aggressive side and how he didn't really have any even regard for his own life. So there you go. Jackson as the party animal. Totally, dude. All right, so Jackson liked to party. He invited the public to his inauguration party at the White House. Just so you know, that will never happen as far as we know this now. Like whoever gets elected president this November, they're not inviting Mr. James or you or your mamas or your daddies to the White House to party. That's not happening. So it got so crazy at the White House, they filled bathtubs. Bathtubs were used as punch bowls. Dishes were broken, and the party turned into a crazy and insane mob to where they even had to have the military come and subdue people and get them calmed down. This is a artist rendition of what it looked like to be at that party at the White House. So he wanted people to just come and hang out with them and celebrate. You'll find out tomorrow that he actually lost his first attempt at presidency, and then he was elected and in 1824, and he was like super like crazy, or sorry, 1828, and was super excited about it. So there you go. And this is the last slide. Jackson the politician. Jackson has served in Congress and been made governor of the Florida Territory. And this is really cool because he had worked so much there as a military leader that they kind of gave him that as a reward. So that was cool to do that. And then he runs for president for the first time in 1824. And I said that you were going to lose this. You learned this tomorrow. You're learning it right now. Losing to John Quincy Adams. And then he runs again in 1828 and wins the presidency at the age of 61, which was kind of questionable because that was getting up there at that particular point in time. And so, a lot of people were kind of worried that he wasn't going to make it, as president for that long. But his wife passed away before he could take office, so he did have to be a widower. So he, had to go through that. So in the end, okay, we had Jackson as the self-made man. Okay, remember he lost his family in the War of 1812, in the American Revolution. So that was some adversity, but he still went on to law and real estate. Jackson, the superstar war hero, he was very, very popular in the military. Jackson as the duel master, talked about how that was kind of some crazy activity, showing his personality. Jackson as the party animal, and then Jackson as the politician. So here's what you have on your summary on this bottom part is you're going to write a few sentences choosing your favorite side of Jackson and explain why. And you can type this out. You can write it on your Cornell notes. Do me a favor, if you write out your notes and take a picture of them, you can put that into Google Classroom as evidence that you completed part one. And I'll do another Screen-O-Matic cast tomorrow over the second part of Sides of Jackson, and that will talk about him as a president. So thanks for tuning in, and great to see you guys. I'm out.